Control, Exposing the Truth About Guns, is in bookstores today. And gun control isn't about controlling guns at all. It's about controlling you. And in the book, we take exact quotes from the people in the media and in Washington, and then we tell you the truth and give you the real, true answer to the questions or the statements that they make, like this one from Rachel Maddow.
No other country in the world has the problem that America has with gun massacres.
Okay, now the problem with this is you just take that because you don't know. You haven't done the research. That's where we come in. For $9, I've done all the research for you. No other country in the world has the problem that America has with gun massacres? Well, because America has the most guns, many people, like Maddow, seem to believe that multiple victim public massacres are exclusively an American problem.
Yes, they are!
No.
Yes, they are!
I don't know why you have
Rachel
to...
Maddow, look, she has exclusively covered American massacres. That proves it.
Okay, no. Many countries...
That proves it. She would have covered the other ones if they happened.
Honey.
They didn't happen.
Many countries with much tougher gun laws than the United States have experienced some of the worst gun massacres in history.
Oh, yeah. I bet you can't give me any examples.
2011,
None.
2011, 32-year-old man visited the island of Utøya, Norway. There, in a place where his victims could not shoot back, he murdered 69 people and injured 110. This remains the worst massacre ever committed by a single person.
Okay, that's one. That's the only one that's ever happened anywhere else but America.
Number two, Mumbai, India. November 26, 2008, 164 people were killed. Another 308 wounded when terrorists wielding machine guns and grenades invaded hotels, a train station, and a Jewish cultural center. Both of these massacres eclipsed anything by far that has ever happened in the United States.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do, Glenn, this wouldn't have happened if these places were gun-free zones.
No, actually, just the opposite. As you will find in the book Control, all of the multiple victim public massacres in Western Europe, as well as all of those in the United States where at least 3 people died. Listen to this. This is an amazing fact. All of those places in the United States where at least 3 people have died occurred in places where civilians cannot legally bring guns. Up until the attack in Newtown, Connecticut, the 3 worst K-12 public school massacres in the world had all occurred in Europe. The worst occurred in 2002 in a high school in Germany when 18 were killed. The second worst was in Dunblane, massacre in Scotland. I've never been to Scotland, but 16 kindergartners and their teacher were killed. Third worst, 15 dead, happened in Germany.
Yeah, but we still have a pretty big problem with gun massacres.
Yeah, you know who really has a problem with gun massacres?
Who?
Mexico.
Well, okay, yeah, but that's just because Eric Holder was running a gun to you racist!
Yeah, right.
You racist
Get all
pig!
Of the facts. Get all of the facts on page...
Fat racist pig! Who's fat?
All right, we got it. Get all of the facts on page 20.
Fatter than most racists. In fact, any racist I could think of, you're the fattest of all.
Page 28 of Control, Exposing the Truth About Guns. Available in bookstores everywhere today and online at glennbeck.com/control.
Use the First Amendment to protect the Second Amendment. Control, Exposing the Truth About Guns by Glenn Beck. Get your copy now at bookstores everywhere and at glennbeck.com/control.
I think it will be interesting to see. We designed this book to be a handbook, and my staff, I think, really got it. I think Simon & Schuster kind of got it as well when I first proposed it on the day of Sandy Hook. My staff really got it. Nobody really wanted to do it because they're like, we're not going to sleep until when? Because what I said at the time was, they're going to come after the guns. They're going to come after the guns. They're going to come after ammunition. And if it's not this time, it will be the next time. And they won't talk about the real cause. We have to talk about the real cause, and we have to be able to have a handbook that people can keep with them. So when you're in a conversation with somebody, I want you to dog-ear this book. It's made for your pocket. You can fold it up and put it in your back pocket. I've done it. You can put it in your briefcase. You can put this in your purse. It's a paperback. It's cheap. And we made it this way specifically so you could have it with you at all times. So when somebody brings up guns, when they say one of these stupid things, because we've covered them all, we've covered all of the stupid things people always say. And then we gave you the facts. And I want you to dog-ear them. I want you to be able to know them so you can argue. Because if we can't argue this with facts, if it just gets down to, well, I don't know, but that's not true, and I don't know, I read it someplace, you lose. You lose. And this one is an easy one to win because the facts really are on our side. Stu, you weren't really involved in this book until the very end, were you?
Right, yeah.
Right. When you read it the first time, what was your reaction?
I mean, there's a lot I didn't know. And it's, we talk about this stuff all the time. So you'd think, we cover a lot of stuff, real facts about guns, but this really goes into depth on all these arguments, and it gives all the sourcing. I also like that, as you pointed out, they're the exact quotes. These aren't just summarized arguments. Oh, the left says this. These are exact quotes of things that they say.
And they're all the quotes that you always hear your friends say, the dummies who are like, yeah, well, we have the worst one in the whole world. And, did you see the chart in there?
There's never been a homicide in Great Britain ever.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find this one. Did you see the chart in there about, here it is, firearm murders per capita versus total civilian firearms in America. Did you see this one? This is on page 89. Look this up.
89, yeah, okay.
Did you see this? This is the greatest chart ever. And what it shows, it starts in 1993, per capita firearm murder victims, total firearms in the U.S., and then the source of the estimates, okay? So what it says in 1994, per capita firearm murder victims. So how many people were killed by a gun of some sort in 1994? 6.3 for, what is it, every 100,000?
100,000, probably.
Okay. Total firearms in the U.S., 192
million.
Yeah. So 100.
That wouldn't be a lot of guns at all if we only had 192 in America.
So 192 million guns. Mm-hmm. Now, you would think, this is kind of like that hockey stick, you would think that if gun sales are going through the roof, murders with guns would also go through the roof, right?
Because more guns equals more crime, right?
Correct. Now listen to this. 1994, there were 192 million guns total in the U.S. The murder rate was 6.3. Since then, we have gone 6.3, 5.6, 5.0 when there was 242 million guns in the U.S.
So we added 50 million guns.
We went down 1.3.
And we went down in the murder rate.
Then it's 4.6, 4.1, 3.7, 3.6. The year 2000 was 3.6, the murder rate, per 100,000 people, and there were 259 million guns.
So we basically cut the murder rate in half when adding 60-some-odd million guns.
Then it's 3.6, 3.8, 3.8, 3.6, 3.8, 3.9, 3.9. 2008 was 3.6. 2009 is 3.4. 2010 is 3.2. 2011 is 3.2. The last estimate we have on guns is 310 million. When we first started this chart, we had 192 million guns. There are now 310 million guns, and we have a murder rate that has gone from 6.3 to 3.2.
Yeah.
It's not the gun.
To summarize that, because you can see the whole chart on page 89 of Control. But to summarize all that, we added 118 million guns to this country, while the per capita firearm murder rate went down by half.
This correlation can also be found in states like Virginia, where the total number of firearms per 100,000 residents was up 63% over 5 years, but where total gun-related violent crimes fell by 27% in that same period. Virginia Commonwealth University professor Thomas Baker, who ran the study, told the Richmond Times-Dispatch that the data, quote, seems to point away from the premise that more guns leads to more crime, at least in Virginia. From my personal point of view, I'd say the data is pretty overwhelming, end quote. That's on page 90 of Control.
We're doing a Control special on the Wonderful World of Stu this weekend.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, which is Saturday nights if you haven't watched on theblaze.com/TV. But one of the stats that you hear the president and everybody on this side of the argument talk about is that 40% of all guns don't go through background checks.
Oh, this one. You won't believe this.
This was great because I didn't have to even come up with my own monologue. I just basically did it right out of the book. It's so devastating to that point.
It's unbelievable.
It's devastating.
I remember I got all the research because I had to put it together, and we were thinking, okay, how are we going to make this case? And so I get all the research, and that was one of them that I got the research on, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. How is this lie even? How does anybody even have the guts to utter this lie? And it is staggering how big this lie is and how easy it is to debunk. It is so easy to debunk once you know the truth on it. And the reason why you don't have any, the reason why nobody knows it is because it totally changes the conversation. And nobody in the media has any desire to change the conversation. None. Because they believe that more control. Did you see the guy who was at the White House dinner? He's up on the Blaze today. He's some black actor. I don't know. I've seen him a couple of times. But he was there at the correspondents' dinner. And he says, I think the president should take all of the guns because I've had friends who have died in shootouts or whatever, have died because of guns. And I think that the president should take all of the guns. Could you do 10 minutes of history on the African American in this country? Just do 10 minutes of history. Every time there has been gun control, every time there's gun control, African Americans lose.
Yeah, they take the guns away from the African Americans because in the past they've been so racist, they didn't like them. They didn't want them to have control of their own lives.
Let's put this together. Where are the heaviest gun control laws in this country?
In the cities.
They're all in the inner cities, all of them. Where's the highest crime?
In the cities.
What, generally speaking, what is the population ethnic makeup?
Largely minority.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have the minorities losing their ability to have a firearm. We have the most crime in those areas. I mean, does that correlate at all?
Yeah, and it's the other side of the argument that's racist. Not the side of the argument that's taking guns away from African American families that are law-abiding, that could defend themselves with them. But the racist side of the argument are the people who want African Americans to have guns